Pickleball Strategy 204. Develop expertise with the third shot drop. Hello folks, my name is Joe Baker and I hope I can offer you some tips that will help you develop a good third shot drop. Many players try the rather difficult third shot drop a few times, experience failure with it, and then give up on it. Their thinking goes something like this: I tried it, I can't do it, it's an advanced shot that is beyond the capability of recreational players. Folks, if this sounds like you, I really hope I can change your mind about this shot. Believe me, I'm not a super athlete or a player with really great touch. I'm 62 years old, I'm overweight, my mobility is not great, and my bottle of ibuprofen is always in my pickleball bag. What I'm trying to impress upon you is that if I can learn this shot, then so can you. You don't need to be a great athlete to make this shot. Instead, you just need to know a few simple techniques. I really think that with a little practice, most players can drop shots into the kitchen reliably, just like I am doing here. There is absolutely no skill in pickleball that will improve your game more than the skill of being able to drop shots into the kitchen. This shot is the gateway to advanced pickleball play, as it is the shot that permits the serving team to advance to the non-volley zone line. So how do we get better? How do we master this incredibly difficult shot? Tip number 1. You must have good stroke technique. You can't just hit the ball. You cannot flip your wrist. You cannot flip your elbow. You cannot even swing your arm. Instead, the stroke comes mainly from the body and from forward momentum. To get precision in your drop shots, you must be able to get reliable paddle speed and reliable paddle face direction. When you can create a reliable paddle speed and paddle face direction, you can produce a repeatable drop shot. So the paddle stroke needs to look like this, not like this. In a good stroke, there is no wrist action, no elbow action, and almost no arm action. The paddle stroke is very linear through the strike zone. Notice that I use very little backswing and that I try to follow through toward the target. In the forehand version, you can use an underhand serving stroke. However, you may also use a version where the paddle head is even with or above your wrist. Again, the main need is for a rather linear stroke, as this helps provide reliable speed and paddle face direction. The backhand version looks like this. Again, the stroke is very linear. Notice I use my left hand to stabilize the paddle and set the paddle face angle. Tip number 2. You must get beneath the ball and provide lift. Good players bend their knees, get their paddle beneath the ball, and ensure that their stroke provides lift. The paddle face must be open or pointing upward, providing lift. I think it is important to set the paddle face angle before the paddle moves forward. Tip number 3. Always have forward momentum into the shot. Stay behind the baseline until you can judge where the return of serve will land. A frequent beginner mistake is to come into the court too soon. When you do this, a deep return of serve will force you to retreat. You can't make a good third shot while trying to back out of the court. Although I like to contact the ball after its apex, it's better to play a half volley with forward momentum than to hit the third shot with backward momentum. Even if you hit a great third shot while retreating, you will make almost no forward progress toward the net following your shot. Tip number 4. Get to the ball early and try to create a perfectly repeatable setup. To achieve precision, you need to try to hit the ball at a consistent height and at a consistent location in your stance and in your swing path. In golf, you create your setup with respect to a stationary ball. In pickleball, you must scramble to get to a place where you can create a setup. I want to get to a place where I can step into the shot, and I like to make contact just in front of my lead toe. Tip number 5. The correct trajectory has arc. Set your paddle aside and try tossing the ball into the kitchen. Remember this trajectory. Now grab your paddle and try to create the same trajectory. Notice that the ball is descending well before it crosses the net. Tip number 6. Aim for the backhand. Of course, some of your third shot drop attempts will be too high and will be attacked. Forehand attacks are usually more difficult to handle than backhand attacks, so aim for the backhand. Tip number 7. If your shot is okay, use your forward momentum into the strike to advance to the non-volley zone line. You should know as soon as you hit the ball whether it will be attackable or not. If you think you made a good shot, do not wait for your shot to land before moving forward. So if your shot feels okay, use your forward momentum into the strike to advance to the non-volley zone line. The third shot is both a shot and a transition to getting forward. Watch this drill. We are using 1/2 of the court only. I will serve the ball, then my goal is to make the third shot drop and then get fully forward before the fourth shot comes across the net. Of course, if you think your shot is too high and is attackable, you need to stay back. Tip number 8. Practice. Here's a great way to practice. Start out dinking and then slowly creep toward the baseline while your practice partner remains forward and feeds the ball to you. I don't think you should ever begin a regular playing session without first dialing in your third shot. Tip number 9. Watch out for a non-forward opponent. If your opponent is here, don't try to drop your shot here in the kitchen. Instead, try to drop it here. The goal is to go as deep as possible without giving your opponent a volley opportunity. A shot to this point is much easier than a shot to the kitchen, and it also gives you more time to get forward. So, if the player returning the serve is slow getting forward, send your shot just in front of his feet. Folks, if you want to advance beyond recreational play, absolutely nothing will improve your game more quickly than developing a reliable third shot drop. Good luck.